Hello everybody, back here again for another vlog a day, and today was Wednesday the 11th, and today was a beautiful day outside, absolutely gorgeous. I think it got to like 60 degrees, maybe a little warmer than that. Just stunning out there. So a little bit of moisture on the ground, dampness, the thaw coming on the ground, all that good stuff. But got up, got a handful of things done around here real quick, nothing real major, laundry and some of that good stuff, and then headed down to the farm to pick up the skid steer and brought it back in town and started leveling out my driveway, all that rock I had delivered yesterday, and got it all smoothed out. Took me a while, but got it smooth enough, I guess. Not perfect, but it is what it is. I'm not a professional skid steer driver, so it seemed like I would get it real close, then I'd screw something up, then I had to go back and spend all the time. And it's amazing how much time you end up shoveling rock around. Even with a giant skid steer there, it's just easier to kind of fill in some of the small holes in the different spots and whatnot. So definitely just had some issues with that, but got it all done. I've got a big parking spot out front of the house. I've got like a driveway on the south side, and there was like a parking in the front that was full of rock. And then last summer, I got tired of it, so last fall I dug it all out with the skid steer, and it was down about 6 inches deep, and I was still hitting massive amounts of rock, but I thought that was enough topsoil to backfill it and actually plant yard there and get grass to grow eventually. So I went ahead, and while digging out in front of the garage on the other, for the house next door, the north house I've got there, I dug out a bunch of rock there in the drive and put it around. I had some dirt I was digging out the bank, because over the years the yard had just been sliding down in there and kind of had eroded up against the garage. So it's like when it rained, the water went underneath my door and was just making a mess. So got the skid in there, started knocking a bunch of that dirt out. And I took that dirt around the front, started filling the hole in up front, and got that, a couple loads that way. And then I went to dig in around the door by the garage, trying to run the skid steer. I'm not super talented at it yet, so I was trying to dig in right next to the garage and that, and it's making me nervous. And it wouldn't dig. I couldn't get to give it any grip and stuff. And then I realized afterwards I'd already done with it. It was still froze solid because it was north of the garage, right up against the garage, and the ground had not gotten any sun yet, and it was still just a solid chunk of ice, while the skid steer couldn't break it up. So broke up a few old sidewalks around here that I was tired of looking at that don't go anywhere, so I got them out of there. Hopefully I might reuse them for another pathway I'm looking at putting in. Don't know if I'll do it or not. We'll have to see. They're super heavy and super awkward, but I might be able to drag them around with the lawnmower or something like that. Maybe make a little, cart out of some wheels and wheel them up there and put them in place. So, or I might just throw them in the ditch to keep it from eroding and just pour new concrete, because they're old and they're kind of nasty looking, but I don't know. I'll have to figure that out, look at pricing of concrete and all that stuff later. I also went ahead and scraped down. I got an alley on the north house up there that they blade every single year, and they scrape all the dirt and crap out on the rock. It's a pain in the ass. They make like a giant ridge on the edge of the south edge of the alley, north edge of my property, and then I can't mow it. It's just a pain in the ass and stuff. And also I park out back there down the alley, which is technically, it's still open, but it's not been used or rocked in probably 20 years now. So I still park out there off and on, just like I go and drop my trailer back off. But sometimes coming out of there, the lip's so high, I drag my trailer getting out because it's like this big bump right there. So I went ahead, took the skid steer and scraped that down pretty good. Used that dirt also to fill in that parking spot area out front of my house, and just had a good time with it. I didn't scrape a bunch off it because I didn't want the city coming by and throwing a fit, saying that I've done a bunch of work on their property, which I'm not sure where my property line and their property line ends, because they're throwing tons of dirt on mine, making this stupid ridge line. So at least got it scraped down. Every time the skid steer is in town, I scrape a couple, I scrape a small layer off there, and I figure eventually I'll get it shaped the way I want it. And also what happens with that ridge they get, it creates like a trough, and the alley stays muddy, so it never, during the rainy season, it never dries out. It makes just like little pools across the whole damn alley. So talked to my neighbor, saw if he needed any dirt moved around. Also, he came out and we talked for quite a while. Got the skid steer all loaded back up, got it washed off, gassed up, actually diesel fueled back up. Headed back down the farm and only had it for half a day. So I was, didn't have it long. It probably ran, I don't know, 2.2 hours, something like that maybe, but it would have been easily 4 or 5 days worth of work minimum, just moving the rock around and stuff. And then from there, digging the rest of that dirt would have taken me probably another 2 weeks. So I figure each hour saved me about a week's worth of work. So definitely worth the trip down. I was telling myself I didn't need to. I could just shovel the rock, and so glad I didn't do that. It was much, much easier. And I would have had to be parking in the street for the next, month and a half, whatever, in the process. So all done, all good, and ready to go. So that was the fun part of there. After that, went out for my evening run. Didn't go too bad. It was already dark. I should have ran during the light, whatever, but I was more concerned about getting the skid steer work all done when it was daylight. So I got that all taken care of, got my run in, and just going to try and maybe watch a little bit of Netflix and call it a night. So talk to you guys tomorrow. Have yourself a safe and wonderful day. Thanks for watching.